Picture this. You die on Warzone in a long-range gunfight. How annoying. Right, you decide to choose a weapon perfectly designed for that gunfight to not get caught out in the next game. In the next game, what happens? You get burned at close range and didn't stand a chance with your weapon you just chose for long-distance gunfights. It's annoying, and I bet it has happened to you all. Unless you can get some early overkill class before getting a loadout with Ghost on, it's unlikely you're gonna have a weapon to perfectly suit these different types of gunfights and situations you find yourself in. Maybe you don't even mind not running Ghost. In that case, you and your overkill class can take people on at any distance, but be vulnerable to UAVs and heartbeat sensors. A lot of the time, I find myself hopping on a loadout and having to choose one of my Ghost classes. This means you essentially get to choose one weapon to do your bidding for the rest of the match, unless you manage to get another loadout or pick up someone else's weapon. So this naturally got me thinking, what is the best all-round weapon in Warzone? I'm talking weapons that can take down opponents at any distance, so no matter what circumstance you find yourself in, you stand a chance at coming out on top. So this does omit whole weapon categories in some instances, like all of the SMGs. In competitive matches throughout all of my time on Call of Duty, I've been an SMG player, so it is sad that I've got to leave them out here, but they just can't be delivering at mid to long range distances. I want weapons that can take on SMGs and snipers and everything in between. I've compiled a few weapons here that I think fit the bill of best all-round weapons in Warzone. First up, it's the champion of multiplayer, the M4A1. This assault rifle dominates the scene in multiplayer and competitive matches at the highest level. It excels at mid-distance gunfights due to its perfect balance of power, fire rate and accuracy, but in Warzone its popularity has declined a little bit, due to newer weapons like the Grau and the strengths of other ARs like the M13 and Kilo. All of these weapons are easy to use, as I mentioned in my previous video, because of their minimal recoil and high accuracy, which comes in handy over longer distances, which you often can find yourself in on Verdansk. Despite this, I'm not actually including any of these other weapons in this video, as in my opinion, they're a little bit too weak at closer ranges and can often be beaten by almost any SMG and many other ARs. The M4, without a doubt, beats these weapons at close range and can compete even against the best SMGs like the MP7 and MP5 if your shot is on point. At mid-range, the M4 is the champion. It's the longer ranges where you might come unstuck due to its recoil, but I think if you can control that recoil and hit your shots, you can beam out people with the Grau M13, FAL or even snipers. Okay, it's not easy, but you've got a pretty good chance. So that's my first weapon recommendation for the best all-rounder in Warzone. It's not the easiest weapon to use, particularly at long distance, but you can dominate lobbies with it. The attachments I recommend are Monolithic Suppressor, stock M16 Grenadier for extra damage range, velocity and recoil control. Along with that we've got the Commando foregrip, 60 round mags and stippled grip tape to give us better aiming down sight speed and sprint to fire speed, giving us a better chance at closer ranges. This mix of attachments tries to help the M4 out over longer distances, improving its range and recoil control. You do lose a little bit of aiming down sight speed, but I think it's worth it. Okay, on to the second weapon that I recommend for the Warzone all-rounder. It's the Ram 7. I really did have a long think before including this. It's a good, powerful weapon, and it's essentially the TAR-21 from Modern Warfare 2, so it even ticks the nostalgic box for me. But it does feel generally overshadowed by all of the other amazing weapons out there. But when I was trying to pinpoint its weaknesses, it was actually quite tough. Okay, without the correct attachments it does have a bit of bad recoil, and its fire rate could be better, but that's honestly about it. At close range it's probably one of the best ARs out there. I've outgunned many MP5s and MP7s with this. At mid-range it's also great with the right attachments because its recoil is controlled and you can put in those high damaging rounds with really good accuracy. Better accuracy and recoil control than the M4 for that matter. At longer ranges again, this is where the weakness is, as all the imperfections in the weapon are highlighted and amplified. Its recoil suddenly feels a bit bouncy, and it does take a good few bullets to kill someone off if they have full armor. But that's to be expected. If you're on fire that day and can latch onto someone quick and control your shots, you honestly can challenge people at ridiculous distances. If you haven't used the Ram 7 much, please give it a go. It's fun and different and ultimately very good. These are the attachments I run, but by all means experiment for yourself. Monolithic Suppressor, FSS Ranger for the damage range, bullet velocity and recoil control, which is great for longer distance engagements. And then we've got the VLK x3 Optic, Commando foregrip for recoil control, and 50 round mags. On to my final suggestion for the best all-rounder. This is a weapon that was at its peak of mega hype a month or so ago before a nerf brought it down to earth, but it's still great to use and offers something different. Have you guessed yet? That's right, it's the Bruen. If you said the foul, I can actually forgive you. The Bruen is one of those strange weapons that doesn't act like the rest of the weapons in its class category. An LMG should be big and slow, with an aiming down sight speed that makes you wonder whether you'd be better off just hip firing. Like I mentioned, the Bruen did get nerfed, but it's still brilliant as an all-rounder. The attachments I recommend are Monolithic Suppressor, XRK Summit 26.8 inch barrel for those longer range gunfights again, the VLK x3 Optic, Commando foregrip and 60 round mags for improving ADS speed, sprinter fire speed and movement speed. We do lose some recoil control doing this, but it's worth it so we can actually stand a chance at closer range battles. You may have noticed a pattern across all of my attachments, and that's because I'm trying to improve damage and velocity at a distance without sacrificing too much recoil control and ADS time. Getting this balance right means we can be deadly at any distance and dominate with just the one weapon. You can get caught in really awkward situations with all of these weapons and still have a great chance at coming out on top, whether that's a sniper pinning you down or someone with an SMG or shotgun pushing you. I always have one of these weapons on a ghost class ready in case I need to swoop into the last map loadout drop and try and put something together in endgame. But that's actually everything from me in this video. What weapons would you recommend for the best all-rounder in Warzone? Let me know in the comments below, I'll be sure to check them out. And if you have a second, a little like on the video would be appreciated. If you want to see more Call of Duty videos, then why not subscribe? I've got a whole load of them and even more to come. You can even become a member by clicking join next to the subscribe button or finding the link down in the description, which gives you access to exclusive perks. Anyway, bye for now.